Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for the week of November 17th. This week you have this Shapeshifter card. It says Mystique, Transformation, and Power. You have this Petty Tyrant. It says Oppressor and Struggle for Autonomy. Very interesting, Aquarius. I just did a reading for you. I don't remember which one it was, where we were talking about how, you really should be taking the lead on something in your life. And, it's like I feel the best thing I can say to Aquarius is that you have to be number one. It's like if you're doing something that doesn't mean, let me back up and just say that doesn't mean that you can't have a boss or, something like that if this is a work situation. But, it does mean that if you do have a boss that is like preventing you from doing your work, then maybe something has to change. Or, again, maybe it would be a good time for you to look for an opportunity in work where you are the leader or like you're in some sort of leadership role or position. Again, if you have a job right now, or a career that is good, you could be taking the lead on a project or something like that. So, all some things to think about. In your first row, you have the Magician, the Ten of Swords, and the Two of Wands. I definitely feel that you are transforming. The Magician is about reinvention. And, sorry, this isn't working. There we go. He has this snake wrapped around his waist, which represents reinvention. And, again, we have a Mercury retrograde right now. Mercury retrograde is amazing for reinventing yourself or, putting yourself out into the world in a different way or, being seen in a different way in the world. So any of that would be really good for you here, Aquarius. Anything you can do to, transform yourself. And again, I've said it a million times, you have Pluto in your sign for the next 19 years or so. And so, Pluto is where we get our power, and anything you can do to, innovate yourself. And you have that Shapeshifter card that says transformation on it and power as well. Those are going to be two of the big themes, two of the big words that you will be working with for years to come here, Aquarius. And yeah, I think it's a really good time. I think it's going to be really good for you. I think that also, again, Uranus and Gemini, even though it's retrograding back into Taurus this week, it's a little bit of a blessing to have it there at the same time as Pluto in your sign, in Aquarius. It's like the two energies are very similar. They're both rebellious. They're both innovative energies as well, and you're an air sign, so you get the benefits of both, right? And so it's a really good time for this year, Aquarius. You have the Ten of Swords. Yeah, something has to come to an end. I feel like I've been saying this to you for weeks, but, I feel like there's something that you will be, it's like, I just feel like it's weight lifted off your shoulders. It just feels like you are so much lighter if you just cut something out. Sometimes I think I have a bad habit of doing this too, where it's like I stay in things longer than I should. And, I always regret it. And, well, I don't really regret it, but I'm always like, well, I knew I should have left this much, much sooner. It's like, it's kind of funny, Aquarius, because I feel like some of you want to be wrong, in a good way. It's like you want to be wrong about a situation. Like, this always happens to me. I'll, agree to a project, even though, at the beginning, I pretty much know that it's not going to work, but I just want to be wrong, And I kind of get that feeling on the Ten of Swords, but I also kind of feel good about it because once you release whatever this is, you probably know what it is as I'm talking about it, whatever. It could be any situation. I feel like you're going to feel a lot lighter. You have the Two of Wands. Yeah, again, leadership. Two of Wands is the card of taking the lead in the tarot, needing to take the lead. He has to take the lead on an adventure that he has to go on. He has to step out into the world here, and he has to do something innovative or unique or different in his life. So I feel for a lot of you, this is about kind of stepping out into the world and, innovating and trying new things. You have the Seven of Cups, as always, here, Aquarius. You get the Seven of Cups with me quite a bit. The Seven of Cups is a card of being spoiled for choice. It can be a card of dreaming or imagining something, but he's imagining a little bit, maybe too much with that Seven of Cups. He's kind of seeing the good things and bad things that could happen. If he manifested a dream or if he did something, it's almost like too much, it's almost like you have too much experience in life. It's like sometimes I think if you have been through too much, you you just kind of like know how things are going to work out before how they work, right? Whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're like dating or, this is work or whatever. But I feel the Seven of Cups, we'll talk about it more when we get there, but I think it's saying you need to look at the world with like fresh eyes. With the Magician, you have the Devil. A lot of Devil energy. This doesn't really surprise me during retrogrades. It also really doesn't surprise me with the South Node in Virgo. The South Node in Virgo isn't necessarily the Devil, but, the South Node in Virgo is very good for cleaning things up, right? It's very good for cleaning up bad habits, getting rid of toxic things in your life, anything like that. So, again, the Magician, we have to manifest from a clean energy. We have to manifest from a good place. And I've just kind of like started to notice this over the last month or so, that the readings, everybody gets the Nine of Pentacles, for example, and you don't have it yet. That could change in a minute. But, the thing about the Nine of Pentacles is it's about the energy around us, and we have to clean that energy up so that, again, we can manifest from a good place. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Page of Wands. Again, fresh eyes. I get this fresh eyes energy here with the Seven of Cups. It's I think everybody gets to a point in their life where they're like a little bit jaded by the things that are going on in the world, or whatever is happening, and so that you start to get a little bit in that energy. And I feel the Page of Wands wants you to get that sparkle back in your eye, that excitement, that enthusiasm, that whatever the energy is, whatever good energy it can be. And again, we have this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius right now. It will retrograde into Scorpio, but it's going to go into Scorpio, then it's going to go all the way back through Sagittarius when it goes direct. So that Sagittarian energy is very playful, optimistic, enthusiastic, all those things. And, I think doing things that get you into that energy would be very good. With the Two of Wands, you have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, everybody has to follow their heart. Again, this week, in the middle of the month, Uranus retrogrades into Taurus. Uranus in Taurus is basically following your heart. So, whatever your heart is telling you to do, whatever you feel is right, I would do it. Again, going in this direction here. I think the problem for you, Aquarius especially, is that things might not make logical sense. Like you might feel inspired to do just a random, business or side hustle or something else with your life, and it might not really make sense. But, that's kind of the challenge that we all have to face right now, is doing something that we are inspired to do, because it won't make sense right now, but it will in the future. What are we doing? Oh yeah. Next in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this card. It's an air card. It says seek union of mind and spirit. You have this griffin. It says honor and good luck. Yes. We have a water trine going on this month right now, and it's happening with Jupiter in Cancer as well. So it's very lucky. And even though Jupiter went direct on the 11th, I'm recording this on the 12th. It'll be published on the 13th. Or what did I just say? I don't know. But Jupiter went retrograde on the 11th. I think I said it went direct, but it went retrograde on the 11th. But still, Jupiter even retrograde is still very positive. And this water trine we're having is very lucky. I've been saying all year that, I think with Uranus and Taurus, the thing about Uranus and Taurus is we have to create our own luck. It's like, it is very lucky, but not like we think. It's not like necessarily winning the lottery, It's more like you put yourself in situations where you stretch a little bit with the Two of Wands, you take that chance, that risk, you take the risk of speaking up, you take the risk of starting something new, something like that. That's where the luck is going to come from. So, definitely something to think about. You have the Death card, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles. Big changes coming in for you. Ten of Swords, Magician, the Shapeshifter card, Death card. Definitely, I would say these are positive changes that are coming in. The Death card can be a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. We even have this white rose here on this banner that the Death Rider is holding, and it represents the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like you're finally getting to the other side in a good way. And, I feel like this is going to be an improvement for you here, Aquarius. So I just think this is talking about change. You have the Knight of Pentacles. It's like there's something about tools popping into my head with this Knight of Pentacles. Like you have the tools necessary. He has to plant seeds in this field behind him, and he has everything he needs, but he just has to make the move. And I always say the Knight of Pentacles is the only knight in the tarot that isn't moving. So I kind of feel it's time for you to make your move, especially if you're starting something or, thinking about planting seeds, then, it would be a really good time to do that. I think, of course, with all this retrograde energy, it's a great time for, gaining wisdom. And, again, I think it's wrong to say don't take action during retrogrades. I say this in every retrograde reading because, again, we can gain a lot of wisdom during retrogrades. But, wisdom is taking what you know and doing it. That is how you gain wisdom. Again, there's a big difference between knowledge and wisdom as far as I'm concerned. You can know something all day long, but it's like if you're not doing it, you actually know nothing. So, I think it's time to start, doing what you know. And even though it's a retrograde, again, if you've probably already been working on something or probably have been learning enough about something that you're really not starting something new, even though it might seem new. If you've been educating yourself and learning the ins and outs of something, that you want to do, then really it's not. So, I think it's perfect time to start experimenting. You have the Ten of Pentacles, which is amazing. Again, all the readings in November have been very positive financially, so there could be some financial improvements. It just seems like it for everybody. Again, I'm not sure what's going on, but, no matter what's going on in the world, we could still be finding opportunities to make money and things like that. So, that's basically what I would focus on. I mean, I think by pretty much the first few months of 2026, we're going to see major financial changes. I've been predicting this since 2016 that the end of Neptune and Pisces, 2026, would be, a big year for some sort of financial change. And, again, hopefully it's good. I'm not sure because Neptune and Pisces is unpredictable. And also we're going to have Uranus and Gemini, which is a little bit unpredictable. So, I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but there will definitely be changes. I think on a personal level, this looks, like I said, it looks very good. With the Death card, you have the Empress. Yep, very good. I think you're starting to put yourself first. It doesn't matter what gender you are. I think this is just you putting yourself first in this reading. Especially if you're working with other people, like I said at the beginning of the reading. This has been a big theme for the past couple months for you, Aquarius, where it's like you're, kind of taking the lead and all those other things. That's where your abundance is going to come from with the Empress. So I would take advantage of it. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Five of Cups. Yeah, Five of Cups is like the fear of disappointment with the Knight of Pentacles. Again, he's not making a move. He's not doing anything. He has those empty fields. He could easily plant seeds, but he's not. And the Five of Cups is like fearing a disappointment. He's lost his taste for wine. He's lost enjoyment. I feel like a lot of people are here, like at this place right here, of, kind of, not enjoying things or having a hard time finding that, inspiration or that excitement again in life. It's almost like things have become too serious which, I definitely think that's true, Aquarius, but, he has to turn around and practice gratitude. He has to be grateful for these two cups, then he gets the bridge and the castle. Not the Empress. She is like the ultimate form of gratitude. So maybe practicing a little bit of gratitude will get you inspired to like start moving again. I think, it's like people are feeling a little bit too robotic, like just every day is the same. It kind of reminds me of the end of last year and the beginning of this year. I was getting this energy of people really being on a hamster wheel. And it's like when you start living automatically, it's very, it just is boring. It's just a grind. And you just start thinking to yourself, is this it? Is this where I'm stuck? Right? And I feel the Five of Cups is trying to maybe shake people out of that energy. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Pentacles, which you have twice in this reading right here. So definitely could be some sort of solid opportunity coming in for you. The Ace of Pentacles is just an opportunity that has potential. So again, we have to plant this seed. Same thing with the Knight of Pentacles. He has to plant that seed in the fields behind him so that they can grow. So I would, if you're getting any opportunities, I would take them. It looks very abundant with the Ten of Pentacles. I kind of feel like some of you, the Seven of Cups here, which we're going to talk about, this could be something that you keep thinking about. It's like if you keep thinking of an idea, but you're not doing it, that could be the thing that you're going to be working on. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this wife engagement card. In this birds card, it says news and messages. Not really love reading, but sure, if you're with a person. You could be getting engaged. You've been getting readings with me about good news coming in for you, so I would be paying attention. Birds are messengers, and I would be definitely, I think you in particular, Aquarius, have been getting a lot of these messages of receiving messages, and so, again, clearly I would pay attention. Again, you have the Seven of Cups, the Eight of Cups, and the King of Pentacles. The Seven of Cups, again, has too many options. Really, he might be thinking of just one dream or one opportunity in his life, but he's just imagining all the potential outcomes of that opportunity. I think I say to you in almost every single reading now, Aquarius, don't cheat yourself out of a good opportunity. Whatever the thing is that you keep thinking about, that's really where I think Aquarius needs to draw their focus, is whatever it is. It literally could be anything. It could be you becoming a wife or a husband or whatever, whatever's going on here. It could be anything. But, I think you really need to make it a focus here with the Seven of Cups. Also, make sure to like and leave a comment, by the way. It really helps me out, Aquarius. But, again, I think you need to focus. You have the Eight of Cups. Again, interesting because a lot of people have been getting the Eight of Cups again. This happened during the two eclipses we just had, the one in Pisces and Virgo, back in September or whatever. And so, again, this has been kind of coming back around. Makes sense because we have this Mercury retrograde, and, retrogrades bring energy back. But Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you. I do feel like the end of the year here is really good for, shedding your skin and, lightening the load. This year is the year of the snake, so we're shedding our skin. Next year is the year of the horse in Chinese astrology. So it's like we have to be free, next year. It's going to be all about freedom, momentum, and speed next year with that energy. So, definitely something to take advantage of. You have the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is like wealth building, definitely with the Ten of Pentacles right next to it and the Ace of Pentacles. You could be very focused on building financial security or doing things that will bring you more financial security. I think this is a good thing for you, Aquarius. It's like you and your opposite sign, Leo, seem to be very focused on building financial security, and I think it's great. I think it's a great time for you to do it. I also think with all the retrogrades that we have going on, which we have a bunch, I think focusing on removing blockages to your finances, especially with that Neptune and Pisces, especially with Neptune and Pisces, I would definitely work on financial blockages for sure. Neptune and Pisces is like traditional beliefs. And so we can have, if your parents said to you when you were younger, money doesn't grow on trees, for example, that's going to create a bunch of money blocks in your life, right? And so it's like you have to clear out those traditional beliefs, the things that you've always believed, whether you realize it or not. Again, if you hear it enough, then you're going to start to believe it. So, now is a great time to work on that. With the Seven of Cups, you have the King of Cups. King of Cups is about your emotions. Seven of Cups can also be very emotional. So the King of Cups has explored his emotions to a very deep level, and now he's sitting in choppy waters, but he's perfectly fine because he has explored his emotions. So it's a good time, I think, for you to explore your emotions, of course. We also do have divine counterparts now, King and Queen of Cups. So, if you're looking for love, there you go. With the Eight of Cups, yes, you have the Nine of Swords. I don't know. I should have said it when I started these readings with Pisces, but I think everybody's going to get the Nine of Swords like this week, probably next week as well. It's that hamster wheel feeling. It is the wanting to escape the matrix. It is, I think the other thing to think about right now is people are looking for authenticity as well. It's like I even see this on YouTube, right? It's like YouTube is being overrun by AI garbage, and I just see all these like channels I'm getting recommended are actually just people sitting down like this talking to a camera. And I think the reason is because people want authenticity, and the Nine of Swords is about being vulnerable in some ways. This person has to get out of this bed. They're kind of in a comfort zone. They have this comfort blanket on their lap, so they have to be willing to be vulnerable to stand out, to get attention, and also to change their situation. But again, this is like that hamster wheel feeling that I was feeling earlier. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Fool. Yeah, definitely time to take a leap of faith here, Aquarius, especially if it's something you've already been working on or you've been planning or thinking about for a long time. I think it's a great time for Aquarius to really put themselves out there, take bigger risks. All that would be good for you. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this gift card, which is good. It says recognition, receiving gifts, rewards, flattery, reconciliation, pay raise, helpful offer, welcome impulse. You have this main man. It says you, basically, even if you're not a man, an important man in the reading, husband, partner, boyfriend. Yeah, definitely. If you want love, this is kind of good. It's not really a love reading, but it is showing up. So, if you want it, it's here. But again, sometimes I think these man, woman cards, whatever, they're just talking about the person I'm reading for, so it doesn't matter, what gender you are. The gift card definitely could be receiving a gift from the universe, but, I think with Uranus and Taurus, it's about creating the gift. It's about, doing something to put yourself in a situation where you could receive a gift, and that's what I'd focus on. You have the Five of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles. Five of Wands is conflict or competition, but, I feel like this is about releasing inner tension is really the message I'm getting for you here, Aquarius. It's like anything, the Seven of Cups kind of says the answers you're looking for exist, and, if you would just, take action or make your move, I feel like that would release the inner tension or would really set you free. And it's coming up in the good stuff, so you probably are going to do it. You have the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is about seeing clearly for the first time. Again, this Mercury retrograde, everybody has been getting the Queen of Swords like crazy. So it definitely seems to be one of those retrogrades that's bringing clarity in for people, which is good. Some retrogrades, I think, bring more clarity than others. I think some are more confusing than others. I just think it depends on, what other astrology is going on. And so, again, we have this water trine that's happening this month. It's actually going to hit multiple times. And, water trines are very harmonious. And I think the water trine, even with the retrograde, could be bringing us a lot of answers from the past or a lot of answers for whatever we're looking for answers on. You have the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles is like a big opportunity that could be coming in for you. So if you're looking for an opportunity here with all these other Pentacle cards, you could be kind of like getting an opportunity that you've been waiting for. The Ace of Pentacles has to be nurtured into existence. I almost feel like saying something is worth it. Sometimes I think with the Seven of Cups, we can be looking at something, we're not taking action because we're like, is it going to be worth it for me to put all this work in? And the Ace of Pentacles is saying yes. So I would put the work in to whatever this is. With the Five of Wands, you have the Seven of Wands. It is a good time to put boundaries up against people who are causing conflict in our life. I also think we need to look at people's, I think we need to look at people's emotions. Sometimes I think if we're going to work with someone or get into a relationship with a person, it's like some people are conflict, right? It's like some people just have that energy. Is that a good person to work with or be with? Probably not, right? Because they're just going to bring a bunch of conflict. So, I think with it, that right there, we need to pay attention. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is fulfillment or wish fulfillment. And, this could say you're getting very clear on what fulfillment looks like for you. And the Nine of Cups in the good stuff definitely wants you to make a wish. So I would make a wish here, Aquarius. It is a lucky time, like I said. Even though we have Uranus going retrograde in Taurus, which is not lucky. Well, it is lucky, but we have to create our own luck. But I would still make a wish with that card. The Nine of Cups is, again, about being in the energy of what you want. The thing that you want to be. So Magician, Empress, all that basically says the same stuff. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, amazing time for learning for you, Aquarius. The Page of Pentacles is a card of studiousness and learning. So I would be learning as much as you possibly can because, I think self-education is very, very good right now. The last opportunity we had that was really good for self-education was 2016. And now it's like the end of this year, I think, is a really good time. Very similar to that time. You have this coins card. It says money will be coming to you. There you go. Love it. So again, the money thing has been very surprising to me in the month of November. Obviously I'm sure you all know what's going on in the world, but I don't know. Again, I think people maybe are making better decisions or doing something to fix their situation. So looks pretty good. You have this man, it says dealings or relationships with a man. You have this rabbit, it says too much concern over sexual matters. Yeah, definitely something I would be careful of with the devil. Like if you're meeting people right now or dating, this is something I would be careful of. You have this bear, it says danger, especially in money matters, which is funny. You know, it's like, obviously, if you have money coming in, which it looks like you do, you probably shouldn't be spending it all over the place. Again, at the end of the year here, I would be extra careful with money. But this is not a bad thing. You know, it's like, it doesn't mean that you can't make money. It just means don't spend it. Don't, put a little bit extra to the side and you'll be fine. You have this wall, it says misunderstandings on it. Yes, Mercury retrograde, right? I would be very clear with your communications, plain and simple. And as long as you do that, you'll be fine. You have this butterfly, it says a change for the better. Love it. Definitely could be an improvement. Ace of Pentacles is improvement, so definitely some improvements. But this looks pretty good, Aquarius. Make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your month.